Good morning, Year 2. This week we are continuing our learning with fractions, and today we are focusing on how to recognise 1/3. Before we start, as usual, we've got some of our anchor questions. So I want you to read them through, pause the video, write down what you think the answer is, and then we'll go through them together. Okay, so what is each part of the circle worth? So you look at the circle. It's split into 4, and think about our learning from last week. If it's split into 4, what fractions is it? It's 1/4. So each part is worth 1/4 because there are 4 parts. Question 2. Is the shape split into equal parts? So you have a look at the shape. Okay, and it's split like this. Each of these parts is exactly the same as the part next to it. So yes, it has been split into equal parts. Question 3. What 2D shape has 3 vertices? Remembering that vertices is the posh word for corner. So you need to think about which shape has 3 vertices, and that is a triangle. Question 4. What's wrong with the pictogram? So you should be familiar with pictograms from when we were doing our learning together at school. And these circles are not all the same size, so they are not fair representations, and there is no key for my pictogram, so I don't know how much a circle is worth. Okay, so on to our learning. What do you notice about these shapes? What can you notice? Each of the shapes, each square is split into 3 pieces. Okay? Are they equal pieces? Is this part here the same as these 2 parts? Are these all the same? And are these all the same? No, so they are not equal pieces, but they are in 3s. Okay, so this time, what is the same about these rectangles? So I want to know what is the same. Okay, so this rectangle, the whole, has been split into 3. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 equal parts of that rectangle, and it's split vertically. And then let's look at the bottom rectangle. It's exactly the same rectangle, but this time it's been split horizontally. And there again are 3 equal pieces. So the thing that is the same is the whole has been split into 3 equal pieces. Okay. What does 1/3 really mean? If I wanted to shade 1/3 of this shape, how many pieces would I have to shade? I would have to shade 1, because it is asking me for 1 out of 3 pieces. Okay, so there's my 1 out of my 3. So I have just shown 1/3. Okay. Alex thinks if she's asked to colour 1/3, she must colour this top third. Is she correct? What do you think? If you were asked to colour 1/3, does it have to just be the top one like Alex says, or can it be any of them? It can be any of them. It doesn't matter as long as it is just 1 piece, okay, because that is what our numerator is telling us, to colour 1 piece out of 3. So when we look at fractions, we have our numerator, which is the number on top, and we have our denominator, which is the number on the bottom. I always look at the denominator first, and that is how many equal parts there are. So you look at the hole, which is this shape here. Okay, so here is your hole shape, and it is split into 3 pieces. You've got 1, 2, and 3. And my numerator is telling me to find 1/3. So I just need to colour in one of these thirds. And like we said before, it doesn't matter which one, so I'm going to do this one. Okay, so I'm going to colour in this middle third. So there is 1/3 shaded. Okay. Remembering that 1/3 means the whole has been split into 3 equal pieces. Remembering that equal is the really important word when we're looking at fractions. So which of my shapes here has been split into thirds, or which one shows a third? Does my apple show a third? No. I've only got one slice of pizza and it is whole. That doesn't show a third. What about the pineapple? It's been split into 3, but they are not equal. They have to be equal to show a third. Now my chocolate bar has been split into 3 pieces, and if I was to just take this piece here, that would be 1/3. So the chocolate bar shows 1/3 when I have highlighted a square. Okay, so today, bronze, your questions look like this. You have got to circle the shapes that have been split into thirds, tick the shapes that have got 1/3 shaded. You've got to match the shapes with whether they show a third or not 1/3, and then find which image is the odd one out. Okay, silver, you are doing questions 1 to 4. You've got to fill in the gaps with the sentences and the words are there for you. You've got to colour a third of each of the shapes. You've got to decide whether these shapes show a third and tick the box. And I want you to tell me how you worked it out. And then I want you to tick the shapes that have 1/3 shaded. Gold, on the same sheet, you are doing questions 5 to 8. Okay, so there is some fruit chopped up into pieces and you need to answer the questions. You need to draw lines to split the cylinder into thirds. You need to think really carefully about that one. And then Alex is here again and she thinks that 1/3 is greater than 1/2 because 3 is greater than 2. I need you to draw me a picture, maybe use a square or a circle to show me you're working out as to whether you think Alex is correct or not. And then only 1/3 of these shapes has been drawn. In the box, I want you to draw the whole shape. So this is just 1/3. You need to complete the shape. And then platinum, these are quite tricky. So it says leave 1/3 of each shape unshaded. And you've got to find different ways, okay? And then 1/3 of each of these shapes needs to be shaded. Find the mistake and explain. And then you've got some true or false questions. Jack has left 1/3 of each shape unshaded. Convince me. Okay, so convince me if Jack is true or false. As always, you can email me or Miss Smith with any questions, and we can't wait to see your work.